Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Pride weekend. I'm super excited. My buddy Kelly and I just went and saw a fabulous crosswalk walk off, something or other, and it was just magical and sparkly and overwhelming in all the best ways and really fun. So yeah, and I love talking to my creative buddy about all things creative and life related. And I've been thinking of making this video about balance and how do we do that. And so it was nice to be able to talk to her about these things because I feel like I'm struggling with it. And we were just talking about how, schedule changes really impact this, and how there's just different seasons for our lives, right? Just like there are in nature, there's times where we have different priorities and there's different situations that take more attention and other things kind of drop. And how do I learn how to be okay with that and not beat myself up and imagine that there's some perfect way to be really good at everything all the time? And so I think this has just been an exercise in like revisiting my perfectionism and my tendency to fall into that. It hadn't even occurred to me that this was a facet of perfectionism until I was talking about it and realized, oh yeah, that's some of the angst around this, is that I'm not doing everything as good as I would like to be doing it. And it sounds ridiculous to say it out loud, but I do think there's sort of this internalized impression that we get that there's some sort of ideal that we can strive for and reach, in which career is going great, relationships are going perfectly, our everything that we value and prioritize are all kind of just like on. And it's just not real, but I think it's just kind of presented as real and something we could do if we just worked hard enough or were just good enough in this culture. So I'm just here to say, like, I just want to help other people who are maybe going through this struggle of like, God, for me, especially being in recovery, it's important to remember, first of all, that it really wasn't that long ago when the only thing I had going on in my life was drinking myself to death. So everything I'm doing now is extra. Like, I'm learning how to live life. And so it's interesting that I went from nothing, basically, like almost losing a minimum wage job, being in a terrible abusive relationship, about to lose my home, broke all the time, sick all the time, drunk all the time, suicidal all the time, to just all of a sudden like getting sober and magically thinking that I should be this totally perfectly functioning adult with everything going on and everything going great. And again, these thoughts aren't rational. Like when I say them out loud, it's like, no, it would take longer than that, and I'll never be perfect at anything. But I realize there is that pressure on myself, and yeah, so I'm just working on identifying that and being like, okay, take it easy. So one thing that helps me, so one of the things we do in this society is measure our worth and success by how much money we're making, right? We have this idea of success as like certain mile markers of like achievement and success. Like, are you married? Do you own a house? Do you have these things? Do you have this income? And one of the things that's been stressing me out is the money situation. So I just made like a mini timeline of where I was when I first started and got sober and where I am now, which is 5 some years later, and recognizing like, yeah, the money trajectory has been kind of like this. But the accomplishments and the achievements and the milestones are on a steady incline, right? I'm feeling better than I ever have before, even with bad days. I'm doing great things with my life. I'm reaching for things and getting them that I have, named for myself that I want, like goals and visions and things like that. So it's important to just kind of take a step back and remember, like, I'm doing just fine. And yes, there's work to be done and everything isn't quite where I want it yet, but there are a lot of things that are going great, and there are a lot of things that are just like unrecognizable from how they used to be before. So it helps me to remember, like, I'm doing really great, and I want to share this message with you, like you are too, right? And another thing that I love when I'm thinking about balance is it's a song lyric that my brother shared with me, and I apologize, I cannot remember the band name right now. So if you know, leave it in the comments. But the lyric just says balance, not symmetry. And I think that might be the name of the song. Balance, not symmetry. And that's amazing. Like, we have this idea that like if we value things, they all need to get the same attention. They all need to be functioning smoothly, all at the same level, all at the same time. And that's just not how it works. And so I liked the idea today when I was talking to my friend Kelly. I had this idea of it being like a composition of a painting, and we're creators of our lives. We're making art in our lives. And so we're making many different pictures, right? There's many different snapshots of where we are today versus 2 years from now versus 3 years ago. And if we can picture this kind of thing, like an image that we're creating and you think about composition in a piece of art, it doesn't mean that the art is symmetrical. In fact, that can be quite boring. But it's about composition and feeling things out and thinking about background and foreground. And how this could apply to life is just like certain things sort of move into the background as we need to put more energy and attention on a new skill perhaps, or a new job or a new relationship. So it's just about having patience and understanding, like, when things kind of recede into the background, that's beautiful too. And we can revisit those things and give them more attention and nurturing later on. And sometimes, we need to let something kind of drop or fall to the wayside to give more energy and attention to a bigger thing. So for me, that's looked like starting new jobs and adjusting sort of a weird schedule while also working as an artist and trying to create this muraling career for myself. It means that I'm not really doing so great with the eating thing, because with my mental health and eating being a comfort thing, I tend to just like allow that a little more. I'm not going to be so rigid around that, even though healthy eating and nutrition is very important to me, and I plan on working on that again. So I just think this can be tricky territory for people, especially if we're in recovery or working on certain things like with mental health or with just building good habits or whatever. So I just wanted to kind of throw out a few ideas to navigate this terrain, and to take care of yourself while doing it, and to be easy on yourself. And, I think for me, I've definitely had this impression that I need to just power through shit, right? Like I need to just effort, and I need to get shit done, and there's no time for rest, and self-care is indulgent and all that. And I do think there's a time to just like push through discomfort and to really give it your all, and maybe sleep a little less to get something off the ground. But more often than not, I think that's kind of an unhealthy approach, and only you can know yourself and what's good for you. But I really suspect I'm not the only one that could use a little leniency in certain areas, and just kind of pick your battles and be like, you know what, I'm going through a lot right now. Maybe I can fucking chill out with the eating and have some ice cream here and there with my friend. Or, you're going to know what it is for you, where it's like, yeah, this isn't ideal, but I'll get to that. And it could be worse. If I have to loosen my rules or whatever around eating to get through this rough patch of readjustment to new jobs and stuff, that's better than drinking, and that's better than, doing something really destructive. So yeah, just take care of yourself out there, figure out what works for you, and give yourself time and patience to just sort of get through it all. And I feel ya. I care about you and what you're doing in the world. Thank you for watching these videos, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.